Welcome back to Arts Weekly. Joining me is Sue Davis, director of the Orchard Gallery of Fine Art. Good to have you on the show.
Glad to be here.
Sue, tell us a little bit about the Orchard Gallery, what you do there, and just basically what's your mission?
Okay, the Orchard Gallery is a cooperative gallery, and that just means that the gallery is owned by local area artists, and we take turns working there and have our work there for sale, and all the work is original, made by the artists who own and staff the gallery. And then we do have some other work that's not made by the owners on consignment to round out our assortment of objects that we have to offer the public.
So the co-op is basically the group of artists?
A group of artists.
And how long have you been around?
We're going into our 28th year.
Wow.
I know. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Did you think it would last this long?
No. When we started, it was just going to be a temporary thing through the holidays at Glenbrook Mall. And then when that time ended, we looked at each other and went, you know, this is working pretty well. We don't want this to end. So we kept going.
And
here
it
we
has
are.
indeed worked out well. You have a lot of very loyal customers, and you really offer something I think very unique in the art scene in Fort Wayne, do you not?
I think so. We have very loyal customers that use us for their, their home decor, their office decor, gifts, everything. We have people that come in sometimes just for their art fix. They come in, they go, I just want to look today, I just need to look around. I go, that's fine, they just need to be surrounded by all of the original artwork, and that's a service too.
And so all these artists, how many artists are there?
There are 20 of us that currently that are members, gallery members. So when you go in there, you will be meeting one of those artists. We take turns staffing the gallery.
Right, so I assume that they're all local?
Area, local. It used to be pretty much just Fort Wayne, but now we have a member who's in Ossian who wants to be a member, and she drives from Ossian, one who from Marion, who drives from Marion, because they want to be part of this group of artists that are, that are doing this. So, area artist.
Well, one thing of art, I guess if you were a business person, it might not be your first choice to make a living.
Yes.
But you guys are doing it. In fact, you had one of your best years ever just recently.
Yes. 2009 was the best until 2010. And that was the best in our entire history. And we're, like I said, we're going into our 28th year, so that's exciting.
What do you think is the cause for the success?
I think people are wanting to buy handmade things, distinctive, unique items. Maybe, if they have limited budgets even, they want to use that money wisely and feel like they're getting a good value for their money.
I mean, it seems to me that if you want a really good piece of original art, for a reasonable price, I mean, somebody made it, so it costs some money, but it's still not, in the stratosphere.
I think
Orchard
so.
Gallery might be a place to consider.
I think that's it. And we have a very wide price range. I mean, we have handmade silver earrings, handcrafted, $20, $30, and then we have large paintings and more expensive pottery pieces. But we're not a snooty, exclusive, make you feel. We're very friendly, accessible.
And we're going to we're actually going to take a look at some of the work, but it's really quite well done. You're an artist as well. You're been a member since the beginning.
Yes.
What kind of things do you do? I think we're going to show a few on the screen. I noticed you're wearing a nice necklace.
Yes. I made this little bird out of clay. And then these are beach stones that my husband, Steve Eshon, and
those are all beach stones.
Yes, collected from Lake Michigan.
You can see those on the screen as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, those are some that I made, yes.
My gosh, makes you want to go to the beach. And you also do 2D art.
Yes, that is a mixed media piece that I actually created this for the show that we're going to talk about. That's coming up. So.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the show coming up.
Okay.
You have a very kind of an interesting name. It's called Small Squares.
Small Squares.
And the motto is, it's hip to be square.
That's right, it definitely is.
But this is kind of a cool show, and it's invitational, as I understand it. Tell us a little bit about Small Squares and what's the concept of this show?
Small Squares, every March in recent history, we have had a theme show. at the gallery. Like one year it was boxes, one year it was the theme was color, red, yellow, blue. One year it was water theme, you know, whatever. This year we had not done a shape, so we decided to do the square show. And
everything is square.
Everything is square, and none of the work that's 2D work that's on the wall is bigger than 14 inches square. And the bulk of the show is wall pieces. You know, they're paintings, mixed media, clay. We do have some 3D pieces, but the focus seems to be on the wall work this time.
And so these are artists that are not necessarily just Orchard Gallery artists, but you bring them in. And,
yes.
And you do that every so often.
We like to involve other artists we know in the area. Fort Wayne has so many fantastic artists, you know, and a lot of them are friends of ours, and a lot of them, you know, maybe I know some people and maybe another gallery member knows someone else, and this is the way we can invite them to be part of the gallery for the month-long exhibit. So we like that, and it brings new work into the gallery for our customers too.
Right.
They can, you know, they like to see their favorites, but then it's nice to have something new for them, you know, to look at. So a show like this does that. Plus, it's like a challenge for the artist to create. It's a challenge when there's some limitations. It makes you stretch. It makes you be creative. I know I had a teacher once that said if you always paint really, really big, then he would make you paint 4x4. Because, you know, that challenges you.
Right. I agree. I think that being within a structured, challenged environment sometimes brings out the creativity more than inhibits it in a strange sort of way.
It's true, and the artists that believe that come up with, you should see some of the things that they've come up with, where they've gone outside of their, you know, what they usually do. It's just really exciting.
It gives them an opportunity to explore something.
Yes.
I mean, do you find that you've been doing this since 1983? You've had the Orchard Gallery that people expect something from Sue. They expect these, you know, these necklaces or this, and then you feel obligated to, maybe that's the wrong word.
Well, no, I know what you mean though.
To constantly stay true to your style?
Yes, and sometimes clients that have followed you for a long time. I had a lady in when we were setting up the show. She came in, "Are you Sue Davis?" I said, "Yes, she is." "I have one of your watercolors that you did like 25 years ago." And I said, "Oh, you know, I hope you're still enjoying." "Oh, yes, I love it, but see, I don't do that anymore."
No.
So she said, "What are you doing now?" And I showed her this more abstract kind of mixed media piece, and it was like, "Oh, that's nice," you know.
Yeah,
like,
but it must be hard because sometimes people want you to replicate yourself.
Yes, they do.
And I don't think it's artist's nature to do so.
You gotta move on. I mean, you gotta challenge yourself. You've gotta try something new. You know, you really do.
Yeah.
You really do.
Why are there so many good artists in Fort Wayne? And there truly are. And there's a lot of galleries. You know, there's yours and there's Castle. And you know, it's going on, quite a number of them. And new ones popping up all the time. Why? Well, you know, why is that happening here? It's really unusual and quite unique.
Something in the water. I don't know. It's just, I guess I really don't know. I mean, I'm sure having the school here, you know, the art school, I'm sure that is a factor. We know a lot of artists in Fort Wayne that they're full-time artists. This is what they do to make a living. I mean, like, I'm a full-time artist. That's my husband, Steve Ashan. That's what we do. We don't have day jobs. You know, that's what we do.
And indeed, you mentioned your husband. He's a ceramic artist.
Yes.
Do they call him ceramicists or ceramic artists? I never knew for sure.
Non-functional clay is what they call us at art fairs, which is kind of, you know, non-functional clay.
Wow.
As opposed to
things like, well, that's, you know, it all started. We had George Morrison on. A few weeks ago.
Fantastic.
And we were talking about that. But Steve and a number of other artists are going to be exhibiting there at the Orchard Gallery. I believe that's in April.
Yes, he has a show coming up. He's working on new pieces.
And you're going to have Becca Strachan.
There's an example of expanding out of your comfort zone. Becca has done very fanciful, wonderful art clothing for years, and now she's kind of switching over to painting.
Oh.
And so her show in April will be the paintings,
so that'll be
clothing.
in April, and of course people can go to your website to find out when these things are opening.
Yes.
In May, you're doing art dolls. What's that? What's the premise there, or is it obvious?
Well, no, a lot of people, they don't really, these dolls are not for children. They are not collectible, cute little things. They are very unique. We're artists, they don't use patterns, they make their own patterns. Fabric dolls, we've got a lot. We have people that, they collect those kinds of things, mixed media pieces.
So is this an invitational as well?
Yes.
You ask people you give them some parameters and you tell them to go for it?
Gallery, yes, yeah. There'll be, right now I know of about 5 or 6 doll artists that are definitely going to, participate in this, so it should be
And
interesting.
when you have these exhibits, or just when people walk into your gallery, is there a particular age that's appropriate? Or it's pretty open to everybody?
Everybody. We have people who bring their children in, especially homeschool children, which sometimes makes us a little bit nervous. No, most of the time the children are very well behaved, and the parents will use that as a teaching aid. They'll walk around and especially it's wonderful if the artist is there and a child likes a certain painting or a pot, and you can kind of tell them how it was done. But
And you're located down there off Covington, right?
Covington Road.
And in a strip mall?
Little strip mall, of a 1/10 of a mile from Getz Road.
Okay, easy enough to find.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Sue, that's all the time we have. You have a wonderful gallery down there,
thank
and
you.
it's just a great place to browse around and look for art, for gifts, or for oneself.
For oneself.
Thank you
yes.
for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
For more information about the Orchard Gallery of Fine Art, visit theorchardgallery.com or call 436-0927. You could also visit them Monday through Saturday from 10 to 5 and until 7 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Missed us on PBS on Sundays? You could also check us out on the internet. Arts Weekly can be seen on YouTube and Facebook, and you can follow us on Twitter. Just search Arts Weekly. As always, Arts Weekly can be seen Tuesday through Thursday on College Access Television. I'm Chuck O'Connor. Thanks for tuning in to Arts Weekly. Join me next week with guests Bradley Beauchamp from the University of St. Francis and Craig Humphrey from the Fort Wayne Civic Theater. See you next week.